Hey everyone, today we're going to discuss Know Your Rights as a transgender woman. So let's get into it. I am a transgender woman. And today I'm excited to share with you the ACLU of Southern California's guide, Know Your Rights as a Transgender Woman. Fade. We hope this video series is helpful for transgender women across the country. In order to more effectively fight for our rights, it's important that we know our rights. Too often, transgender women face discrimination in public, at work, or even at home. But here's the truth. The Bill of Rights, the 14th Amendment, and federal civil rights laws protect you. The first part of this series will explain why it matters to know your rights as a transgender woman. Why does it matter to know your rights as a transgender woman? The United States of America is governed by the Constitution and federal law. The Constitution lays out our nation's basic principles and establishes a framework for governing the country. Among those principles is the promise of equal protection and freedom from discrimination under the law. That's why it's so important for transgender women to understand what our rights are. Knowing your rights empowers you. First, let's talk about free speech. The First Amendment to the Constitution protects your right to express yourself, which includes expressing your gender identity and how you choose to present. No one can punish you for being transgender or stop you from expressing your gender identity. Next, let's talk about equal protection. The 14th Amendment to the Constitution guarantees that no state shall make or enforce any law which shall deny to any person within its jurisdiction the equal protection of the laws. This amendment has been interpreted to prohibit discrimination against transgender people in many areas of life. Finally, let's talk about civil rights. Title 7 of the Civil Rights Act of 1964 prohibits employment discrimination based on sex. In 2020, the Supreme Court decided the case, Bostock v. Clayton County. In it, the court held that discrimination against a transgender person for being transgender is a form of sex discrimination prohibited by Title VII. This means that transgender people are protected from workplace discrimination because of their gender identity. These are just some of your rights as a transgender woman. Now, let's take a look at what your rights mean in practice. Let's start with public spaces and safety. You have the right to access public spaces such as restaurants, stores, transportation, and sidewalks, just like anyone else. Some states may try to restrict your access to bathrooms. However, remember, under federal law and many court rulings, gender identity is recognized as protected. Therefore, all gender signs should apply to you and anyone else. And while this list is not exhaustive, these are some of the ways that transgender women have had their rights violated in public spaces. If this happens to you, there are resources available to help. More information can be found in the Know Your Rights Guide. Next, let's talk about healthcare rights. The Affordable Care Act prohibits discrimination based on sex, and courts have ruled that this includes gender identity. This means that doctors, hospitals, and insurers cannot deny you treatment simply for being transgender. 2. Also have the right to have your doctor or other healthcare provider refer to you by your correct name and pronouns. Additionally, you have the right to make decisions about your own medical care, including whether to transition and which treatments to pursue. 2. Also have the right to access reproductive health care, including contraception, abortion, and infertility treatments. Some states may try to restrict your access to health care. However, remember, under federal law, gender identity is recognized as protected. Here are some additional things to remember when it comes to health care. You can access emergency medical services without fear of discrimination. VO. You have the right to access mental health services without fear of discrimination. Now, let's talk about what to do if your rights are violated. So, what do you do if someone violates your rights? First, document everything. Take notes, photos, and save any evidence you have of the violation. Second, file a complaint with the appropriate agency. Depending on the situation, You may want to file a complaint with the EOC, the HHS Office for Civil Rights, or your state civil rights office. You can find more information in the Know Your Rights Guide. Third, get legal help. Consult an attorney or legal aid organization that specializes in LGBTQ+ rights. Many groups offer free or low-cost legal services. Now let's finish up with a quick review of your core rights. The First Amendment protects your right to express yourself, including your gender identity and how you present. The Equal Protection Clause of the 14th Amendment ensures that you cannot be targeted by laws that treat transgender people unfairly. Title VII of the Civil Rights Act, affirmed by the Supreme Court in Bostock v. Clayton County, protects transgender people from workplace discrimination. You have the right to access public spaces like restaurants, stores, and transportation. Under federal law and many court rulings, gender identity is recognized as protected. Therefore, all gender signs should apply to you and anyone else. Finally, let's finish up with a message of empowerment. Remember, you are not asking for special treatment. You are demanding equal treatment under the law, a promise guaranteed by the Constitution. We hope this video is helpful and informative. Knowledge is power. Protect your rights. Protect your future. If this video helped you, please like, comment, and subscribe. Together, we can build a safer, freer America for all. Thank you for watching this video. To continue advancing our collective power to create positive change, check out our social media to stay up to date on our latest news and to join the conversation.